Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Radhe Govinda. Welcome to this evening's satsang. We will commence by sprinkling water on yourselves and all around you while you fix your minds on Bhagwan. Om Pavitraha Pavitro Va Sarvavastangatopi Va Yah Smaret Pundari Kaksham Sabhahyabhyantaraha Shuchihi. Sip water in the palm of your right hand 3 times. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Om Narayanaaya Namaha. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Rinse your hands. Om Hrishikeshaya Namaha. Om Govindaya Namaha. Om Madhusudanaya Namaha. Put on a paiti, a kus ring on the right hand ring finger of your hand. Om Pavitresto Vaishnavyo Saviturvaha Prasava Utpunamya Chidrena Pavitrena Swasya Rashmibhihi Tasya Te Pavitra Pate Pavitra Putasya Yat Kamaha Punetachakeyam. Now apply chandan to your forehead, starting at the top of your nose, moving upwards. Om Chandanam Vandyate Nityam Pavitram Panashanam Apadam Harate Nityam Lakshmir Vasati Sarvadham. If you have not lit your house lamp already, please do so now. Om Bodhipa Tvam Brahmarupa Andakara Nivaraka Imam Maya Kritam Pujam Grihastejo Pravardhaya Om Deepaya Namaha. Sprinkle water on the earth or on the Vedi, thinking of Mother Earth. Om Prithivi Tvaya Dhrita Loka Devi Tvam Vishnu Nadhrita Tvansha Dharyaman Devi Pavitrang Kuru Chasanam. We are now going to recite Swasti Vachan, which is a set of mantras from the Ved, appealing to Bhagwan for wonderful auspicious things and also praising him. To do this, you may put your hands together with some flowers and white rice. Alternatively, at least put your hands together and focus on Bhagwan. Om Swastina Indro Vridashravaha Swastina Pukha Vishwavedaha Swastina Starakshorarishtanemhi Swastino Vrihaspatir Dadatu Om Payah Prithivyam Paya Okadishu Payo Divyantarikshe Payodaha Payasvatihi Pradishah Santo Mayam Om Vishnoratamasi Vishnoho Snapresto Vishnoho Syurasi Vishnurdhruvasi Vaishnavamasi Vishnavetva Om Agnir Devata Vato Devata Suryo Devata Chandrama Devata Vasavo Devata Rudra Devata Ditya Devata Marato Devata Vishwe Deva Devata Vrihaspatir Devatindro Devata Varuno Devata Om Dyaho Shantir Antariksha Gwang Shanti Prithivi Shantirapah Shantirokadayah Shanti Vanaspatayah Shantir Vishvedevah Shantir Brahma Shanti Sarvagung Shanti Shantireva Shanti Sama Shantiredhi Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasuva Yad Bhadrantanna Asuvasu Shantir Bhavatu. We are now going to do dhyan, invocation and meditation on Bhagwan Ganesh and Mata Parvati. Once again, to do this, put your hands together and focus your mind on Bhagwan Ganesh. Om He Ramba Tume Yehi Ambika Trayambakatmaja Siddhi Buddhi Pate Trayaksha Lakshalabha Pitu Pitah Nagasya Nagaharatvam Ganaraja Chaturbuja Bhushitah Swayide Divyai Pashankusha Parashvadhe Avahayami Pujartam Rakshartancha Mama Kritaho Ihagatya Grihanatvam Pujang Kratuncha Rakshame Om Gananantva Ganapati Gwanghavamahe Priyanantva Priyapati Gwanghavamahe Nidinantva Nidipati Gwanghavamahe वसो मम आहम जानी गर्भतमातुमजासि गर्भतम। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः गणपतये नमः। ओम अम्बे अम्बिके अम्बालिके न मानयति कश्चन। सस्य श्वकः सुभद्रिकां कां पीलवासिनीम्। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः अम्बिकायै नमः। We are now going to do dhyan meditation on Kalash Varun Devata. I assume that you established a Kalash on the first day. You may focus on that or offer some flowers. Om Tatvayami Brahmana Vandamanaस्तदा शास्ते यजमानो हविर्भिः अहिद्यमानो वरुण्येह भोद्युरुष गुं समान आयुः प्रमोसिः। बोले कलश वरुण भगवान की जय। Now focus your mind on the Novagraha, the celestial bodies, the deities presiding over the celestial bodies that affect us all the time, and pray to them that they are favorable to us. Om Brahma Murari Sri Purantakari Bhanu Shashi Bhumi Suto Buddhascha Guru Shashukrah Shani Rahu Ketava Sarve Graha Shantikara Bhavantu। बोले नो ग्रह देवताओं की जय, सूर्य नारायण भगवान की जय। नाउ फोकस योर माइंड ऑन भगवान शिव। ओम याते रुद्र शिव तनोर घोरा पापकाशनी तयानस्तन्वा शंतमया गिरीशंत बीचाकशीः। ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय। We are now going to do Panch Upchar Radha Krishna Bhagwan Puja. We are going to make 5 offerings of chandan, flowers, agarbatti, aarti, and some kind of prasad or even a fruit. To do this, we are going to commence by taking flowers in our hands and focus your mind on Bhagwan Shri Krishna and Srimati Radharani. Om Radhaye Namaha, Om Radhaye Namaha, Om Radhaye Namaha, Om Vasudeva Sutan Devam Kansa Chanuramardanan Devaki Paramanandham Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande paramananda madhavam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Using the ring finger of the right hand, apply chandan to the murti. Om Shri Kandham Chandanam Divyam Gandhadiyam Sumanoharam Vilepanam Surashrestha Chandanan Prati Grihatam. Now offer flower petals again. Om Mallikadi Sugandhini Malityadini Vai Prabho Mayharathani Pujartam Pushpani Pratigrihatam. Agarbatti, turn agarbatti, light and turn agarbatti in a clockwise direction around the murti. Om Vanaspati Rasodbhuto Gandhadyo Gandha Uttamaha Agreha Sarvadevanan Dhupoyam Pratigrihatam. Now light a diya or a camphor and do the same, perform arati. Om Sajam Chavarti Sanyuktam Vanina Yojitam Maya Deepam Grihana Devesha Trailokya Timirapaha Hasta Prakshalanam. Rinse your hands and now offer some kind of prasad or a fruit or nevedya. Om Gritapakvam Havishanam Payasam Cha Sasharkaram Nana Vidang Cha Nevedhyam Vishnurme Pratigrihitam. Now sprinkle water. Om Sarva Papa Haram Divyam Gangheyam Nirmalam Jalam Achmanam Maya Dattam Grihan Parameshwaram. बोलिए श्री राधे कृष्ण भगवान की जय, सीतारामचंद्र भगवान की जय। श्री लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान की जय. We are now going to commence with our invocations to Bhagavad Gita so that we can commence with recitals shortly. To do this, once again, all of you should focus your minds on Bhagwan Sri Krishna while we recite these invocations and prepare ourselves for the recitals that will follow. Om, Om, Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Para Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Dhyana Moolam Gurur Murtihi, Puja Moolam Guru Padam, Mantra Moolam Gurur Vakyam, Moksha Moolam Guru Kripa, Moksha Moolam Guru Kripa. Kasturi Tilakam Lalata Patale, Vakshastale Kaustubham, नासाग्रे वरमौक्तिकं करतले, वेणुं करे कङ्कणम्, सर्वाङ्गे हरिचन्दनं सुललितं, कण्ठे च मुक्तावली, गोपास्त्रीपरिवेष्टितो विजयते, गोपालचूडामणि. कुल्लेन्धीभरकान्तमिन्दुवदनं, बर्हावतं सप्रियं, श्रीवत्साङ्कमुदारकौस्तुभधरं, पीताम्बरं सुन्दरं. गोपीनां नयनोदपलार्चिततनुं, गोगोपसंहावृतं, गोविन्दं कलवेणुवादनपरं, दिव्याङ्गभूषं भजे. ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं, व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम्, अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्. नमोऽस्तु ते व्यास विशाल बुद्धे, पुलारविन्दयत्पत्रनेत्र, येन त्वया भारततेलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमय प्रदीप. प्रपन्न पारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये, ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृततुहे नमः. सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः, पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्. वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं, देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. भीष्म द्रोण तदा जयत्रतजला, गन्धाधरनीलोत्पला शल्य ग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी, कर्णेन वेलाकुला. अश्वत्थाम विकर्ण घोर मकरा, दुर्योधन वर्तिनी, सोतीर्णा कलु पाण्डवैरननधी, कैवर्तकः केशव. पारार्श्य वचः सरोज ममलं, गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम्, नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधना बोधितं. लोके सज्जनष्टपदेरहरः पेपीयमानं मूढा, भूयात् भारतपङ्कजं कलिमलः प्रध्वंसी नः श्रेयसे. मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं, यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुनवन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैर्वेदैः साङ्गपदाक्रमोपनिषदैः, गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थित तत्कतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। गीता सुगीता कर्तव्य किमन्यै शास्त्र संग्रहे या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखा पद्माध्वनिसृता सर्वशास्त्रमयी गीता सर्वदेवमयो हरिः सर्वतीर्थमयी गंगा सर्ववेदमयो मनु गीता गंगा च गायत्री गोविन्देति हृदि स्थिते चतुर्गकार संयुक्ते पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते भारतामृत सर्वस्व गीताय मतितस्य च सारः मुद्रित्य कृष्णेन अर्जुनस्य मुखे हुतम्। अन्य शास्त्रों के संग्रह की क्या आवश्यकता है, केवल गीता का ही भली प्रकार से गान पठन और मनन करना चाहिए, क्योंकि यह भगवान पद्मनाभ विष्णु के साक्षात मुख कमल से प्रकट हुई है। गीता समस्त शास्त्रमयी है, श्री हरि सर्वदेवमयी है, गंगा जी सर्व तीर्थमयी है और मनु सर्व वेदमयी है। गीता, गंगा, गायत्री और गोविंद ये चार गकार से युक्त नाम जिसके हृदय में वसते हैं उसका पुनर्जन्म नहीं होता। महाभारत रूपी अमृत के सर्वस्व गीता को मत कर और उसमें से सार निकालकर भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने अर्जुन के मुख में उसका हवन किया है। अब हम गीता जी की आरती गाएंगे।
भगवद गीते मैया जय भगवद गीते हरिय कमल विहारिणी हरिय कमल विहारिणी सुंदर सुपुनीते ओम जय भगवद गीते जय भगवद गीते मैया जय भगवद गीते हरिय कमल विहारिणी हरिय कमल विहारिणी सुंदर सुपुनीते ओम जय भगवद गीते कर्म सुमर्म प्रकाशिनी कामासक्तिहरा मैया कामासक्तिहरा तत्त्वज्ञान विकाशिनी तत्त्वज्ञान विकाशिनी विद्या ब्रह्मपरा ओम जय भगवद गीते निश्चल भक्ति विधायिनी निर्मल मलहारी मैया निर्मल मलहारी शरण रहस्य प्रदायिनी शरण रहस्य प्रदायिनी सब विधि सुखकारी ओम जय भगवद गीते राग द्वेष विदारिणी तारिणी मोद सदा मैया तारिणी मोद सदा भव भयहारिणी तारिणी भव भयहारिणी तारिणी परमानंद प्रदा ओम जय भगवद गीते आसुर भाव विनाशिनी नाशिनी तमरजनी मैया नाशिनी तमरजनी देवी सद्गुणदायिनी देवी सद्गुणदायिनी हरि रसिका सजनी ओम जय भगवद गीते समता त्याग सिखावनी हरि मुख की वाणी मैया हरि मुख की वाणी सकल शास्त्र की स्वामिनी सकल शास्त्र की स्वामी श्रुतियों की रानी ओम जय भगवद गीते दया सुधा बरसावनी मातु कृपा की जय मैया मातु कृपा की जय हरिपद प्रेम दान कर हरिपद प्रेम ध्यान कर अपनों कर दीजे ओम जय भगवद गीते
Jai Shri Krishna. We are going to commence with this evening's Bhagavad Gita recitals, and we are reciting verse number 15 of the 14th chapter, which deals with the modes of nature or the three guna. I hope that all of you will try to recite with me. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangishu jayate tatha pralinas tamasihi mudo yonishu jayate Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Bhagavan Sri Krishna is going to explain to Arjuna about human behavior. Why human behavior? Because human behavior is what we seem to be judging each other by. Human behavior is the understanding behind our actions, and our actions lead to consequences. Therefore, the study of human behavior is important. But Bhagwan has gone into such depth that he's not just analyzing the behavior, he's analyzing the root cause of this behavior. What is it that inspires or instigates such behavior? And how people's behavior can be categorized into three main pathways. I like to call them three ropes, three different ropes: a white rope, a red rope, and a black rope. And all of them are tied around our waist and pulling us in different directions, because that is exactly what they do. They jostle with each other for our attention and, of course, to hijack us, if I can use that word. Once we are complete this diagnosis, there is room for us to improve and overcome this affliction. Okay, so these modes of nature at certain times, if the bhav is correct, can be used in a manner to assist us on our journey of through life, can assist us to achieve certain goals, etc. But it is binding. Throughout this chapter, Bhagwan uses a word, nibadhananti. That means it is binding, it is tying us down. And any creature that is restricted, any life form that is restricted, is never happy. If you take a plant that is growing and you restrict it by cutting off its sunlight, that plant will start to wither. If you stop giving that plant water, it will start to wither. If you tie it and pull it in a direction away from sunlight, it will suffer. Similarly, every creature in this universe that is bound or restricted in some way is going to be unhappy. Of course, our happiness, see, plant has a much shorter life. Trees have a longer life. Other creatures have a longer life. Insects and little organisms have a shorter life. Human beings, we are at the highest rung of the various species, and therefore our binding, that which ties us down, actually ties us down for many, many births. Now, this is a very, very sad song to sing about our existence that goes beyond this lifetime. It goes through many, many lifetimes. And in taking so many bodies. So it is very important subject matter. It is highly philosophical, but it plays a major role in the human psychology for us to understand the behavior of those around us. By studying this, we become aware as to why people are behaving in a certain way, which is very important. We often get upset with people who are badly behaved, who are doing funny things in this world. But when we read these verses and understand them, from a distance, we can actually understand why they are behaving in this way. And it is their unawareness, the fact that they're unaware of what is these energies are doing to them, that they allow themselves to behave in such a way. And I suppose by us understanding this, we actually feel pity on others, and we kind of understand what they are doing, and perhaps we become more forgiving in our nature. So let us look at this verse. That was an introduction into the subject matter, especially for those people who have not been joining this platform for the past few days. In verse number 15, Bhagwan is saying, Rajasi pralayam gatva. Gatva means to reach or to meet, or at that point where pralayam can mean dissolution, but in this context, it means death, when the soul is leaving the body. Okay, so Bhagwan has spoken a lot about our behavior prior to this, right? And now he's saying, hold on, the story doesn't end there, because the journey of the soul, or the soul, does not perish when there is death. Even when the universe is dissolved, the soul still doesn't perish. It enters back into the Lord. And therefore, if it does not perish, it means that something is going to happen after that. In other words, it is going to continue to exist. And this chronic illness that we have is not cured. It may be incubated for a while, but it's not cured. Therefore, there is no running away from this. We must get rid of this head in the sand attitude, that if I put my head into the sand and I can't hear anything and can't see anything, it's not going to affect me, or it will go away. Now that is not what we should do, because Bhagwan has made it clear to Arjuna, you can do lots of things. You have many choices. I'm going to give you information, etc. But I'm telling you that you do not, as part of your duty as a Kshatriya, you do not have the right to give up on the battlefield. That is not your dharma. Now, all of us in this context, we are Kshatriyas. We must become Kshatriyas for in our thoughts, in the sense that we better become set or understand that we're not allowed to give up. We have to overcome this, as difficult as it sounds, because the problem is not going to be solved by death. Rajasi, now he's talking about the Rajasic mode. So those people who are in the Rajasic mode at the time of death, who will be in the Rajasic mode at the time of death? Those people that were in the Rajasic mode for most of their lives. Because what we become accustomed to seems to come naturally to us at most times. Rajasi pralayam gatva, at the time of death, if you are in the Rajasic mode, karma sangishu jayate. Okay? Jayate means to be born. You will take another body. Where will you take another body? Karma sangishu, because you are attached to the fruits of your work. You want to enjoy what you have done. You will be born amongst those people who are busybodies like that, who are engaged in that kind of thing, with the same kind of mindset. See, this, we generally do more of what we are happy with, what our bhav tells us to do. And so Bhagwan gives us that. If that's what you want, that is what he'll give you. You are in the Rajasik mode, he will put you into a family or an environment where you can carry on. But he does not abandon us there, because as human beings, sometimes when we get a lot of something that is not good for us, we realize, hold it, this is not for me. So there is a process, there is a method here that is being given to us by the Lord. You can listen to what he's saying and change, or you can go into this situation and learn from experience, because he has told us over and over again that being in the Rajasik mode will bring you sadness. It will bring you pain. It will bring you despair. So he's telling you to change the way you are behaving. You don't want to listen. So it's like you tell a child, please don't put your hand into the fire. And the child doesn't listen to you, puts his hand into the fire. What happens? The child gets burnt and says, hold it. This thing burns. I'm not going to put my hand there. It has caused me some pain. So being born into this kind of environment will ultimately lead to our pain, and hopefully from that pain we will learn. Tatha pralinas tamasihi mudo yonishu jayate. So in the verse prior to this, Bhagwan has spoken about the Sattvic people. I'm not going to repeat that. Today in the first part of this verse, he spoke about the Rajasik, and now he's talking about the Tamasik person. Pralinas. Pralinas also is same as pralayam. At the time of death, tamasi, you are in the tamasic mode, you are in this mode of darkness, ignorance, foolishness. What happens? Mudo yonishu. In the first part of the verse, he says karma sangishu. Now he's saying mudo yonishu. Karma sangishu means those people who are attached to the fruit of their work. But karma sangishu, who does work and is attached to the fruit of the work? Very important, human beings. I cannot believe that animals become attached too much to the fruit of their work. Karma sangishu, he's saying you'll get human birth again. You probably will get human birth again in the Rajasic mode. And you will be born amongst people who have that same ambition as you, obsessive ambition as you. Now he says in the next one, Tamasi muda yonishu. Muda yonishu means you will not get human birth. Mudo yonishu means you will be born amongst the less advanced species. I'm actually being very kind and tactful by using that word, because mudha is actually insulting. If somebody calls you mood, it's actually insulting. But what does he mean here? He's using this word because he's talking to his friend Arjuna, his disciple. And he knows that Arjuna is more intelligent. He will understand all of this and treat it in the right context. What Bhagwan actually is meaning here is that you will be born amongst the lower life forms, insects, creatures that cannot move around, bacteria, all those kind of things, animals, etc. Now, why insects? Let's just use one of the examples, one of the species that the Lord is speaking about, insects. Okay? See, a tamasic person will do things that ultimately harm him and also harm those around him. And an insect, generally, most insects like to bite other creatures. Example, a mosquito. It starts moving towards you, and sometimes you try to hit the mosquito with something. So the mosquito knows the chance of him getting smashed and killed is very, very possible. But few minutes later, you hear one sound, the mosquito is coming back, zzz, coming back to bite you. Why? He's not intelligent enough to know that I mustn't go back there. It's too dangerous for me. And what is he trying to do? He wants to get something to eat from you by biting you. But at the same time, he's causing pain to you. So he's putting himself at danger and putting other people around him in danger by biting them. This is the nature of a Tamasik person. Sadly enough, this is the reality. So Bhagwan is saying, to avoid being in these two modes at the time of death, there's various kinds of things that we can do, which we are going to talk about later on. Let's move on to the 16th verse. Karmanaha sukritasyahu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dhukam ajnanam tamasaha phalam. Now Bhagwan is talking about phalam, fruits, the results. The results of what? Noble or pious deeds. Karmaha sukritasyahu. Su, when the prefix su is attached to the word, it means something positive. Therefore, those kind of actions which are pious, or what we may refer to as noble deeds, are actually what will result satvikam nirmalam phalam. These actions are faultless. They are good. Okay, they are good for you. Joy, wisdom, dispassion, etc. This is the reward for doing those kind of things. Rajas sastu palam dukkham. And the result of being in the Rajasik mode, I told you just now, is dukh, unhappiness. You know why? Rajasik mode is the mode of trishna, desire. And we already have learned that desire can never be fully satisfied, or it is very temporarily satisfied. What is our expectation? Our expectation is that we will become satisfied. Yet the nature of the situation is that we cannot become satisfied. Therefore, it leads to disappointment. There's the dukh that Bhagwan is talking about. I'm going to give you another more practical example, and that is over-obsession of ambition, for example, to achieve something. And so we work to the point where our body can no longer take it. And then what happens? The body starts to falter. The body becomes weaker. What is that? What is happening? We are seeing that there is dukh. That also brings us dukh. Next thing, Bhagwan, the next word he uses, ajnanam. Ajnanam. What is ajnan? So gyan means knowledge. Ajnan means ignorance. Let us look further at this word, ajnan. What is ajnan? Ajnan is related to this Tamasik mode, tamasa phalam, right? Let us look at the behavior of certain people. And I'm going to use examples which are not meant to insult anybody. I'm using examples to help you understand this. So if you look at certain people who are not living the highest quality of life in various aspects of their lives, whether it is their habits, whether it is their occupation, whether it is their relationships with others, etc. But they firmly believe that no change can come to them. You hear them saying, this is my nasib, nothing can be done about it. That is agyan, that is ignorance. Because God could not have sent us into this world helplessly. Okay, so that is agyan. You hear a person saying, there is no God, prove to me there is a God. That is agyan. If there is no God, who created this whole place? Who created you? Who put life into you? So that is agyan. You watch people consuming things that are bad for their health, intoxicants, etc. And they'll tell you, this makes me feel so good, how can it be bad for me? That is agyan. These people in the Tamasik mode, further, they will take any kind of information and pervert the information twist it to an extent that it is no longer valuable to them. It is no longer of the highest interest to them. I'm going to give you an example. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagwan uses the word yajna. Now, for a person who doesn't understand the meaning of yajna and reads an English translation of it, you will see that the word yajna is translated to the word sacrifice. Now, a person in the Sattvic bhav will understand that this sacrifice means anything that is Sattvic in nature, including our thoughts, our actions, our time. That is a sacrifice to Bhagwan. A Tamasik person will tell you that the word sacrifice means that we must offer some kind of life to God. We must kill something. Why? Because the Tamasik person has gone ahead of that killing. He's already gone to the taste. So he will tell you that the word sacrifice means you must kill something. This is Argya. We now move to the next verse, which is number 17. Satvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha evacha pramada moho tamaso bhavato ajnanam evacha. In this particular verse now, Bhagwan is saying that there's certain things that are attracted by the Sattvic mode. So if you are in the Sattvic mode, certain things in the world will start coming to you. And he says, Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. So if you remain in the Sattvic mode, you will be interested in knowledge. So knowledge will come to you. But he goes further. In this particular verse, jnanam does not just mean knowledge, it means wisdom. In other words, knowledge that is starting to get applied, not just knowledge that is being accumulated for some other purpose. Wisdom will come to you. Rajaso lobha evacha. What follows the Rajasic mode? So if you are in the Rajasic mode, lobha. Lobha means greed, non-satisfaction. We don't know when to stop. A good example of this is, I was about to say gambling, but I needed to change my mind because gambling is not about greed. Gambling is actually in the Tamasik mode. Because if you think that you can beat a pre-programmed machine, then you are in the Tamasik mode. You're not in the Rajasic mode. Lobha, greed, this kind of greed can mean working non-stop 24/7 just to accumulate wealth when you already have a fair amount. You don't have a balance. This is the lobha. Pramada moha tamaso. Pramada means to error, misinterpretation, stupor. That is what follows, or actually ajnana follows this Tamasik mode. So if you remain in the Tamasik mode, in this mode of ignorance, this is what is going to follow you. Incorrect interpretation of every situation. Twist everything upside down. Not considering what it was really meant, what was the underlying intention. You twist it upside down and it causes you to make mistakes. Ignorance. I actually believe that ignorance in some cases is blocking out the fact that I understand what is right, but I still want to do the wrong thing. That's also ignorance. And there are so many people in the world like this, well-educated people who fully understand things, but still do the wrong thing. Why? They want to behave as if they are ignorant to suit their own means. And that is ignorance itself. We'll now go to the 18th verse. Urdhvang gachanti sattvasta madhye tishtanti rajasaha jaganya gunya vritista adho gachanti tamasaham. Bhagwan is now talking about planes of existence. Planes of existence, whether it is a physical place, or whether it is a mental state. He's saying, Urdhvam gachanti sattvasta. The people who are in the sattvic mode, they move upwards. They progress. So there's a lot of hope for these people. They progress, become swifter and swifter. Urdhvam gachanti sattvasta. Madhye tishtanti rajasaha. So many times on this platform and other satsangs, we have explained to you about the various regions that exist, the various planes of existence that we call lokas. See, the one who created these lokas, he's called Lokesh. Lokesh created all the lokas. And he said that you will move between these lokas depending on which mode, which guna you are attracted to, that is embedded in you, will determine in which loka you are. So on the earthly plane, Madhye Tishtanti Rajasa, we are in the middle, okay? And of course, there are exceptions to the rule. There are people who have advanced on this earthly plane as well. But in general, the Rajasik people will remain on the earthly plane and won't move to the higher levels. The Sattvic people will start climbing up that ladder. Jaganya guna vrittistaha ado gacchanti tamasaha. The people of Tamasic temperament, gacchanti, they will sink to where? To the lower regions. To the lower regions. Now the lower regions can be described as lower lokas, as we have explained before, but they can also mean, adho comes from the word adha. Adha can also mean hell. So being in the tamasic mode is a dangerous thing. See, the commentators of Bhagavad Gita have described it as a mode of inertia. Inertia means moving in a certain direction, but when you put brakes, it doesn't stop, it keeps spiraling and snowballing. Therefore, the tamasic mode is an exceptionally dangerous one. So besides moving to the lower planetary systems, you can also move to the hellish planetary systems, which are slightly different. We're now going to move to the next verse. Nanyam gunebhya kartaram yada dhrishtanupashyati ganebhyascha param veti madbhavam swadigacchati. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Bolye Nandanandana Bhagavan ki jai. A beautiful word in this verse here is Drishtvan. What is the meaning of this? To have a vision. To be able to see. Drishtva means to see. Okay? Who must see? Who will be able to see? Who will be able to see? The seeker. The person who wants to see is called a seeker. The person who wants to remain in ignorance is called a tamasic being. The direct opposite is the one who wants to see what is the reality. He is called a seer or a seeker. Yada drishtva ganebhyo. When somebody is able to see that all these erratic behaviors of ours, all the underlying modes and hidden agendas, if I can call it that, are nothing else but the three gunas, gunebhyo. Then pashyati, when you are able to see, when you have this kind of vision, then you will see that ganebhyascha param veti. Bhagavan is saying, I, that means Sri Krishna, is beyond all of these three gunas. He is not embroiled in it. Everything that the Lord creates is his manifestation, but it doesn't mean he gets mixed up in it. He's saying, I am above it. Yada drishthanupashyati. On that day, he says, on that very moment, when you are able to see this, mad bhavam so adigacchati. He says, I have, that means Sri Krishna has another bhav. He says, mad bhavam. He says it's not these three. So the name given to this is called what? Vishuddha Sattva. So beyond these three modes of nature, there's a fourth one which resides with the Lord. It's called Vishuddha Sattva. And there are other words also to describe it. And he says Mad bhavam, that bhav of mine. So adigachati, you will enter into that supreme bhav beyond these three. Beyond these three that are wrestling with you every day, you will come out of the friction. This is most wonderful. What does it show us? That God has not abandoned us here. He has given us the means to come out of this place, to overcome these difficulties and challenges. And that is so wonderful. So I'm going to summarize now quickly. I'm going to use an example. So if Bhagwan comes now, and all of us are standing together, and Bhagwan says, come, all of you come, let's go to my abode. The person who is caught, bound in the sattvic mode, you know what he will say? He will say, I've done so much of wonderful things here. Let me wait here and enjoy what I've done. You come back tomorrow, Bhagwan. When I finished, enjoy this, and you take me. I'm so learned. Let me share more of my knowledge. Let me show the people how learned I am. I'm in the sattvic bhav. I can't come with you now, Bhagwan. The Rajasik person will say, I'm still in the middle of my competition. I didn't win yet and show everybody how powerful I am. I earned so much and I haven't spent it as yet. Please wait, Bhagwan. I cannot come with you. And of course, the Tamasik person will ask Bhagwan, who are you? Where did you come from? Because he does not know the difference between his soul and the body. Neither does he know who Bhagwan is, because he's blocking it all out. So of these three, none of them are ultimately the best. Yet being in the sattvic mode allows you to spiral upwards into the Vishuddha Sattva. The possibilities of getting there are a lot better from the sattvic bhav. Who is able to do that? The one who teaches you all of this is called the Guru. The Guru removes the Tamasik gun and brings the gun of light or illumination, prakasha. He is called the Guru. Now, by following these verses and the intricacies and the challenge of this very powerful three gun, now you realize the importance of a Guru who can show you that light, who can show you that true knowledge, so that you can overcome this and reach this point that Bhagwan is talking about. Bhagwan Sri Krishna is just given us the diamond of this chapter. He said, Gunebhyascha param veti. When you put me above these three gunas, you take Bhagwan and put him above these three gunas. He's already there, but in your mind, put him there. Mad bhavam swadigachati. He says you will get the bhav that I have. You will get my divine bhav. And for this reason, we are saying to you over and over again, in anything that you do in life, put Bhagwan right at the top. Do it for him. And these other three fellows that are tying you with the ropes will start to open. This is the secret that Bhagwan is giving us here. And I ask you the question, how will a person who does not go to a guru or does not go to a satsang learn what the Lord has given us in this chapter? It's going to be a very difficult and long process for that to happen. I've come across something interesting that I thought I will share with you very quickly. It will take 2 minutes. In Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran, there is wonderful information given to us there about what kind of things can affect the gunas. What kind of things can affect the gunas? And I'm not going to explain each one in detail, but I want you to listen and you see how you can use these things to improve the quality of your gunas. It says, Agamopaha prajadesha kalah karma cha janma cha dhyanam mantrota sanskaro dashetehe gune hetavaha. These three gunas can be overpowered by 10 items. Dashete guna hetavaha. 10 items. What are the 10 items? Agama. Agama means Shastra. Gyan. Scriptures. Study the scriptures. Second one, Apaha. Apaha means water. Divine consecrated water. Cleanse your body, cleanse your mind, sip the water taking the names of God. Your bhav will start to change. Apaha, prajaha, children. By hoping to set a good example for your children, change your bhav. Teach them good things, teach them good morals, teach them sincerity. So children can bring change into our lives. Next one is desh. Desh can mean country in which you live. But I like to use this to say environment. Not only country, but environment. Because I believe in almost every country of the world, you can create the right environment to influence your bhav. Okay? Next one is kal, time, yuga. Once again, the yugas, the behavior deteriorates in each yuga. We are now in the worst of them all, Kali Yuga. But I also believe that once again, if you put yourself in the right environment, you can overcome the effects of Kal. Next one is karma, occupation. What do you keep yourself busy doing every day? If you are in an occupation that is related to the Tamasik mode, you're going to be in trouble. It's going to be really hard to overcome it. And think of all the hideous occupations that people are involved in, the kind of things they are selling, the kind of things they are manufacturing. All of these things affect you. Next one is janma, the family you are born into. If you were born into a family that places great emphasis on puja, Bhagavad Gita, Ramcharitmanas, scripture study, the chances of you changing your bhav for the better is greater. Next one is dhyana, thoughts. If you want to have good thoughts, you can. And thoughts are influenced by meditation. Do not allow the mind to become a dustbin. Let the mind become a lake in which the pastimes of the Lord are sporting. The Lord is sporting in his pastimes. Man Sarovar. Next one is mantra. Mantra means powerful chants. All of us have the ability to learn mantras. And mantras assist you and influence you. Everyone, nobody is exempt from learning mantras. And mantras can be learned even if you can't read. They create a vibration like no other sound. Last one, the 10th one is called sanskar. Solaha sanskar. By performing the various sanskars and expanding them into our daily life, you will be able to get this bhav that Bhagwan is talking about. Dear brothers and sisters, I hope that you are learning from these discourses. I am sure that you are learning from all the discourses that are being presented. And I encourage you to please join this platform and continue until the end of this chapter, because there's more wonderful, wonderful information that is going to be shared with you. I wish all of you a wonderful few more days before Ashtami, and may you have a divine and blissful Ashtami together with your families. Jai Shri Krishna.
कृष्ण जिनका नाम है, गोकुल जिनका धाम है, ऐसे श्री भगवान को, ऐसे श्री भगवान को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है। कृष्ण जिनका नाम है, गोकुल जिनका धाम है, ऐसे श्री भगवान को, ऐसे श्री भगवान को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है। यशोदा जिनकी मैया है, नंद जी बापैया है। यशोदा जिनकी मैया है, नंद जी बापैया है। ऐसे श्री गोपाल को, ऐसे श्री गोपाल को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है। राधा जिनकी धारा है, अभ्युत जिनकी माया है। राधा जिनकी धारा है, अभ्युत जिनकी माया है। ऐसे श्री घनश्याम को, ऐसे श्री घनश्याम को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है। लूट लूट दधी माखन खायो, ग्वाल बाल संग धेनु चरायो। लूट लूट दधी माखन खायो, ग्वाल बाल संग धेनु चरायो। ऐसे नीला धाम को, ऐसे नीला धाम को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है। कृष्ण जिनका नाम है, गोकुल जिनका धाम है। ऐसे श्री भगवान को, ऐसे श्री भगवान को बारंबार प्रणाम है, 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 बारंबार प्रणाम है।
स्वागतं कृष्ण, शरणागतं कृष्ण, स्वागतं कृष्ण, शरणागतं स्वागतं सुस्वागतं शरणागतं कृष्ण स्वागतं सुस्वागतं शरणागतं कृष्ण स्वागतं कृष्ण शरणागतं कृष्ण स्वागतं कृष्ण शरणागतं कृष्ण मधुरपुरी कृष्ण मधुसूदन कृष्ण मधुरपुरी कृष्ण मधुसूदन कृष्ण स्वागतं कृष्ण शरणागतं कृष्ण स्वागतं कृष्ण शरणागतं कृष्ण स्वागतं कृष्ण शरणागतं कृष्ण ओम कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय।
आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की गले में बैजंती माला बजावे मुरली मधुर बाला श्रवण में कुंडल जलकारा नंद के आनंद नंद लाला गगन समयंग कांतिकारी राधिका चमक रही यारी लखन में तारे बनमाली भ्रमर सी अलग कस्तूरी तिलक चंद्र सी झलक ललित छवि श्यामा प्यारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की कनकमय मोर मुकुट बिलसे देवता दर्शन को तरसे गगन सो सुमन राशि बरसे बजे मूर्छंग मधुर मृदंग ग्वालिन संग अतुल रति गोप कुमारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की जहाँ ते प्रगति भई गंगा कलुष कलिहारण जी गंगा स्मरण ते होत मोह भंगा बसी शिव शिष जटा के बीच हरय अगतिच चरण छवि श्री बनवारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की आरती कुंज बिहारी की श्री भक्ति उज्ज्वल चतरेनु वज्रही वृंदावन देनु चमुदिशी गोपी ग्वाल देनु हसत मृदु मंद चांदनी चंद कटत भाव फंद तेर सुन दीन दुखारी की गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की आरती कुंज बिहारी 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 की गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की।
कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। मङ्गलं भगवान् विष्णुः मङ्गलं गरुडध्वज मङ्गलं पुण्डरीकाक्ष मङ्गलाय तनोहरि सर्वमङ्गलमङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते। ओम यानि कानि च पापानि जन्मान्तरकृतानि च तानि तानि विनश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे। ओम सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम अपराध सहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽयमिति मामत्वा क्षमस्व परमेश्वर। आवाहनं न जानामि विसर्जनं पूजां चैव न जानामि क्षमस्व परमेश्वर। अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष त्वं परमेश्वर। बोले विघ्नहर्ता गणेश भगवान की जय जगत जननी पार्वती माता की जय शिव शंकर भगवान की जय सीतारामचंद्र भगवान की जय लक्ष्मण जी की जय महावीर स्वामी बजरंग बली की जय श्री लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान की जय श्री बालकृष्ण भगवान की जय गंगा यमुना सरयू सरस्वती मैया की जय श्री राधे कृष्ण भगवान की जय। ओम नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव हर। जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे श्याम जय श्री राम